So what do you take for your pets when you go camping or whatever you do? Um, I've had people ask me that, and this here is called KwikStop. Now, if you cut a fingernail on a dog too short and you hit the quick, well, that's what this is. You take his nail, it's bleeding, you stick it in there and it stops the bleeding so the dog don't bleed to death. You can get this from the vet, I imagine. That's where I got it. But it's called KwikStop, and I carry this on me. So in a way, you could think of it as it clots up the dog's bleeding. Dogs can get hurt as easy as people, and to be honest with you, I think they get hurt much easier because they're not so much aware of their environment, especially Cosmo, my new German Shepherd that's a puppy. Um, he doesn't think about getting in trouble or hurting himself. He just goes full out. I mean, that dog's like he's on crack. I don't know how many times I've seen him drop his ass to the ground because he took the corner too fast and got to give himself a Charlie horse. I was like, we learning yet? Takes time. But there are certain things I take, and a lot of things I try to tell dog owners, especially when you're in the South, Benadryl. You'll see this in all my packs when you see me pulling out. This just came in today. My wife stole my other package, but I'm always buying that stuff. You see, if one of my dogs gets bit by a rattlesnake or copperhead or one of the terrible snakes we have around here, then what happens to a dog, they don't have the same reactions as human beings do, where we need to slowly get to a doctor as fast as we can. Their throat starts to close up. And if that throat closes up, well, they suffocate and drop dead right there in front of you. You give him that, Benadryl, it keeps the throat from swelling up. So now he's got a fighting chance. 1 milligram for every pound. And there's 25 milligram pills here. So if your dog weighs 50 pounds, you give him 2 pills. And hopefully the throat doesn't sign up and you try to keep him calm and wait for it to pass. Make sure he's got water, fluids, stuff like that. But Benadryl is your key to success for a snake bite. 3-way ointment. I wish this stuff came in a smaller container. But I've used this stuff for years. It's a pain reliever. It's like putting Neosporin on. It covers so many things. It's just unbelievable what this stuff does. It's like a super salve. It's unbelievable. Now, a couple other things I got here probably most people don't even think of, probably don't even have. These are a sticky band-aid is what they are, and they stretched out. You see that? So I would put like um, some gauze, you know, and then I would start, say, wrapping that dog, and I would stretch that out, and I wouldn't want to cut off the circulation, so I would only stretch it half, and then I would start using it. Now, as you can see, it's not too hard to put on, okay? So if I go up here and then say I cut it, I wouldn't cut it if I was putting it on my dog. I'd use the whole thing. But what you'll see, it kind of sticks to itself. So it makes it harder for your dog to take it off, is what it does. And you could start the one end and then start wrapping it if you want it a little bit tighter, basically. But this would help, would keep in, infection out, dirt and stuff like that. I have a whole box here, You only need, I don't know, 2 or 3. I think I carry about 3 of them, is what I do. And the reason for the bright colors like pink and stuff, so you see it. You don't want it to be camoed. Now, another thing I had come in today that I plan on carrying, and I've never carried this before. This is like the very first time I'm doing this. And I have tourniquets for humans, but I don't have tourniquets for my dog because their legs are much smaller, even a child. So these are elastic tourniquets. Okay? And how these normally work, I'll give you a quick demonstration. And I'll do it with my hand. But normally, and you do it up on the arm, right? And these are a pain in the ass to put on compared to, your regular tourniquets. But if you got two hands, it's not too bad. Usually I leave a little bit of a tail, okay? So once you got a tail, then you start wrapping, and as you wrap, you pull, okay? Let me do that again. You wrap and you pull, okay? Now you're going to get it there. Pull, wrap, pull, wrap, pull, wrap, and then you tie it off at the end. Now that thing is pumping, okay? You may need a couple of these, but when you got two hands to use these, it's a whole lot easier. But trying to put one of these on yourself is not so easy. Like I said, you got a tail, and then you wrap it around it, and you pull, tighten, pull, tighten, pull, tighten, and then you tie it off. Not so easy to put on compared to a regular tourniquet. But I bought these for my German Shepherd, so I have two hands, and if I've got my German Shepherd there, he's bleeding pretty good. I may even take some KwikStop, for example, and you can hear it. I may take some of that and spread it across where it's bleeding pretty bad, lay a piece of gauze, then put this on, and then probably go up a little higher and add this away from where I'm putting everything together. But these are the main items I take. This is new, so we'll see about that. You don't need many, 3 or 4. Throw them in your canine setup. I'll have links to the bottom to all this stuff. But the major stuff I tend to use, I have this. I've never had to use it once yet, thank God. This I've used many times. I've had them tear off their nail, the Kwik. I've used this a lot, okay? The KwikStop. Now, the 3-in-1 ointment, I've used this a lot. I've even used this on me. I have used this a lot. If I see a cut on her belly or a tick has really nailed her pretty bad, and I pull a tick off and she starts to bleed pretty good, I'll add some of this to it, is what I'll do. And then I'll just keep an eye on it when we're walking. Because to her, or him, because I have both female and male, they don't seem to care about the pain or what's going on unless it's really severe pain, and then they let you know. So this is like my pet kit. And I want to be able to get my male or female out and get them to a vet. But, I could very well be coming out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and there are no vets around me open at 2 o'clock in the morning. Not unless I want to go an hour's drive and then I want to go pay $1,000 to get in to see them. It gets pretty expensive when you start jumping in with vets. So the more you can do on your animal, the more it's going to save. So we don't all have that type of money if one of our animals gets sick. I love when people sit back and say, well, go check your vet. Well, they don't have $1,000, so they can't go. They're asking to find another answer. It's sad. And then you'll hear other people, well, you shouldn't do that if you don't have the money. Well, not everybody has the money every freaking minute of the day. There's been days a person can have 10 grand, and then there's days they don't even have enough to eat. It happens because they're paying bills or things come up. That's just the way it is. But if you have a little know-how, like if all of a sudden you're in a canoe and your German Shepherd jumps out and cuts the side of his leg on a log or a rock, and you see those veins going down their legs, right? Well, you'll see it pumping. You're going to put your hand on it right away and try to stop it, but, you're going to want to get one of these elastic tourniquets on there, above it, go as high as you can. And then if you can stop that pumping blood coming out, and it's just a little dribble, well, now you can actually go back, maybe throw some of this KwikStop on, and maybe some of this, and then we'll wrap it with this, and then maybe we'll add another one of these. Well, all this is giving me time. That's what it's doing. So say I get home at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's not bleeding, we're not having an emergency here right now, but now I can wait till morning, 8 o'clock, take him into the vet takes it all out, has a look at it, maybe the vet will clean it up, drop a stitch or two, and, maybe you're only into 200 or 300. Really depends. Vets in my town, we're extremely affordable here. We're really cheap for a vet compared to bigger places. As soon as you start dropping stitches into an animal, they immediately want to put them to sleep. because they don't want to get bit, right? And well, that's when it starts to get expensive. You know, you spend 150 on the anesthesia to put them down, and then you got to stitch them up. I mean, it's the anesthesia stuff that's costing a lot of money. So hopefully this will get you there or prevent you from being there. Is what it'll do. I just seen this guy on YouTube. He had his dog had the pad cut really bad, and I think it was close to him costing him $900. That they had to put some stitches in the pad, put the dog to sleep, to do this. And you know, you feel bad for the dog. You hurt for the dog. He's your best friend, right? But having something like say this, and the dog split his pad open. Well, my first objective is obviously stop the bleeding. So I'm going to use this KwikStop on it right away to see if I can get it to stop. I put some gauze on. I'm going to take some of the sticky stuff and start wrapping it on top of the gauze and help the dog walk better. And I think his dog stepped on some glass. And I made a comment saying my dogs are tied up most of the time. And he said, well, I like my dogs to run free. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I was just giving my point of view. Because with German Shepherds, his dog was different. German Shepherds will go from 0 to 90. And everywhere that I've been so far, like some of the state parks I've gone to, they have big signs saying your dog has to be on a leash. And if that dog's not on a leash and he bites somebody, then you've killed your dog. They're going to put him down. And that's just something I don't want. But I did suggest to him if he wants his dog to run free, and there's a lot of glass, and because people suck, maybe he wants to train him to wear actual doggy boots, because you can buy them. You just have to really get them sized up properly. Like my one dog, she wears goggles when I take her. And I even have a video out there. I'll see if I can link to it, which is kind of funny with her wearing her sunglasses. But she had been walking through the bush in front of me, and she had scraped the inside of her eye on a pricker bush. And I noticed her eye was kind of swelled up. She was having a hard time blinking it. All I used was warm water on her to keep her eye clean. And, you know, I got her to the vet the next day. And they told me what was wrong. Well, we got the proper stuff and fixed up her eye, and everything was good. So in order for that to not happen again, I got her a pair of sunglasses, and she wears glasses when she goes. So they have clear glass. They have the sunglasses are darker. If she runs her eye into something, then she's okay. So that's a plus. But I've never had that problem with her again. And every dog's different. You know, some dogs are prone to hurting their legs. Some dogs are prone to hurting their eyes or their ears. Or, you know, I mean, dogs will roll in dead animals. All of a sudden they find a dead animal, they roll in it, and you're flipping out. But the reason they're rolling in is so they can hunt. You know, they don't want to give up their scent. So if they start to hunt a squirrel, a rabbit, or whatever, and all of a sudden they smell them, well, they're going to go hungry. It's instinct to get rid of their smell. So they'll go roll in a dead animal, and then they begin hunting. So now when the animal smells, it smells a dead animal, so it doesn't feel like it's going to be hunted or killed. It is interesting when you watch them, but he could very well, or her, she could be rolling in a dead animal that has sharp bones and stick one of them inside himself. Now those bones are very dirty, and your best thing is to clean it the best you can. Use the 3-in-1, maybe a couple of Benadryl. I mean, and then get him to the vet. You're going to the vet either way when you start pulling this stuff out. Okay, that's all there is to it. So we're just trying to postpone time. Well, I'm trying to postpone time till I can get to a vet. That's what it is. But this sticky stuff, this stuff's great. It really is. You can even use it on yourself. It's awesome. Anything you use on your dog, you can use on yourself. So, and these are, you can use these tourniquets on people. You can use them on babies. You can use them on, you know, 1-year-old, 2-year-old. But you got to pay attention to them and really get them to the hospital quick if you don't know what you're doing. Because a regular tourniquet may not fit, but what's the alternative? They die, right? So, but there are videos that will show you how to use these on YouTube, and you should practice with them and get used to them. You know, practice not on your dog, practice on a can of spray paint or something else, deodorant, whatever, something that's got a smaller circumference to practice on, and you'll get the hang of it. But I'll have the links to this stuff. This is my doggy first aid, and I guess it's not a boo-boo first aid. It's for major situations is what I carry. I'll catch you guys later.